File 1A. Listening.
Welcome back to the show. Today, we've been discussing Teresa Gold's article, The Truth About Healthy Eating. And now it's time for you, the listeners, to tell us what you think. The lines are open, so all you have to do is call 1-800-555-5792 and talk to one of our operators. That's 1-800-555-5792. And it looks like we have our first caller. Kevin from Miami. Tell us what you think about the article.
Well, I'd like to say that I don't agree with the article at all. I don't eat many fruits or vegetables, and I'm perfectly healthy. I haven't called in sick to work for years. I can't remember the last time I had to stay in bed. This 5-a-day thing is garbage, isn't it?
Thank you, Kevin. I think we have another caller on line 2. Kate from Chicago. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm sure the writer knows what she's talking about, but it isn't that easy. I mean, it's hard enough to get kids to eat vegetables at the best of times, but with all these burger and pizza places around, it's almost impossible. Once they get the taste for junk food, you can forget the 5-a-day, that's for sure.
Thanks, Kate. And who's our next caller?
My name's Derek, and I'm from Washington, D.C.
And what do you think, Derek?
Well, I'd like to say that I think that the article is right. I mean, the writer talks about eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, which is something that we've always done in my family. My mom's a great cook. She always uses completely natural ingredients in her cooking, and we're almost never sick.
Thank you, Derek. Let's go back to line 2 again, where we have Rosie from Boston. Rosie, what's your opinion?
Well, the writer seems to think that all fruits and vegetables are good for you, and I don't think that's true. I mean, what about potatoes? They contain a lot of carbohydrates, which can make you gain weight if you aren't careful. It's even worse if you fry them. And then some fruits, like melon for example, have a lot of sugar. Personally, I think you should eat a little of everything and not too much of one thing.
Thanks, Rosie. And that's all the time we have for today. We'll be speaking to the writer of the article after the break.
File 1A. Pronunciation. B. 1,
Fish. Chicken. Squid.
2,
Tree. Beef. Peach.
3,
Cat. Crab. Mango.
4,
Car. Carton. Jar.
5,
Clock. Chocolate. Sausage.
6,
Saw. Raw. Salt.
7,
Bull. Cook. Sugar.
8,
Boot. Soup. Tuna.
File 1A. Pronunciation. D. 1,
Boiled.
2,
Cabbage.
3,
Spicy.
4,
Roasted.
5,
Grapes.
6,
Fruit.
7,
Baked.
8,
Melon.
9,
Zucchini.
File 1B. Listening.
I'm exhausted.
Me too. I haven't stopped all day.
Neither have I.
Oh well. I guess it'll get easier when the kids grow up.
Do you think so?
Of course. When they're older, they'll be more independent. We won't have to do everything for them anymore.
And how long will that take? 5, 6 years? Or maybe never?
Look, what's the problem, Terry?
Nothing. It's just that we never have time for each other these days. We're always with the kids.
But that's what happens when you have kids. It'll get better.
I don't know. My parents were talking about us going to live with them. Do you think it would be easier for us if we lived with my parents?
Well, I guess it'd have its advantages.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, there'd always be someone to take care of the kids.
That sounds good.
And we could go out in the evening without the kids. Just imagine that.
That doesn't really matter to me.
And there would be more people to share the housework, too. It wouldn't always be the same person who does the shopping, cleans the house, and cooks the meals.
Yes, but there would be more people in the house, so there would be more work to do. Shopping and cooking for 6 isn't the same as doing it for 4.
I guess so.
And another disadvantage is that we wouldn't have any privacy.
True.
And you know what your parents are like. They let the kids do everything they want to do.
I guess you don't want to move in with my parents then.
Not really, no. Would you like to move in with mine?
No, definitely not. Actually, things aren't so bad right now.
I agree.
And the kids will be older soon.
Yes, they will.
That's settled then. We're staying here.
Fine. File 1B. Pronunciation. 1,
When are you going to book your vacation?
2,
I'm not going to book the flight yet.
3,
I'm going to look online.
4,
Who are you meeting tonight?
5,
I'm meeting some friends.
6,
I'm not meeting my girlfriend.
7,
When will you get your test scores?
8,
I won't get them this week.
9.
I'll get them on Monday.
File 2A. Listening. 1,
Can I live on my salary? Well, I don't really have many problems because I'm still living with my mom and dad. Don't get me wrong, I give my mom some money for rent, but it's definitely much cheaper than living on your own. I actually have a pretty good salary. I'm a graphic designer. I don't really spend much. I buy some new clothes every now and then, and I have to put gas in my car, of course. But apart from that, it's really just going out on the weekends. Most of my money goes into a savings account so that I can buy my own house one day.
2,
I find it really hard to live on my income because I only have a part-time job. Being on my own with my daughter means that my mom has to take care of her when I'm at work. At least I don't have to pay for childcare. The house we live in is rented, so that's where most of the money goes. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford our own place because the bank won't give me a mortgage. Apart from the rent, my money goes to food and clothes for my daughter. Still, I shouldn't complain. I have an amazing daughter, and that's all that really matters.
3,
I think I'm really lucky. I'm pretty healthy for my age. I have enough money to live on, and I have my children and grandchildren. When I say I have enough money, I don't go on any fancy vacations or anything like that, but I'm comfortable. I've paid the mortgage, so that's one less expense, and I don't have any loans to pay either. My one little luxury is going out for lunch a few times a week with some friends. I guess that's where most of my money goes, on food.
4, Can we live on our salaries? Well, I'm not so sure, actually. My husband is a teacher, so he doesn't earn that much. Definitely not enough to raise 2 children. That means I have to work too. I have a full-time job at the local supermarket. And really, that's our biggest problem, because we need someone to take care of the children. Our babysitter costs a fortune. We spend more on childcare than we do on our mortgage. Then there's food and new clothes for the children, too. Honestly, it isn't cheap having kids these days. File 2A, Pronunciation, B. 1.
Up. Money. Nothing. Sold. 1.
2.
Clock. Honest. Shopping. Dollar. Clothes.
3.
Phone. Done. Oh. Go. Loan.
4.
Horse. Afford. Worse. Store. Mortgage.
5.
Bird. Work. World. Short. Worth.
File 2B, Listening.
And now, to end the show with an inspirational story, we have John to tell us about an incredible trip.
Yes, thank you, Nora. Have you ever thought about traveling around the world and trying to help people as you go? Well, that's what an American father and his 2 adopted sons are currently doing. J.D. Lewis is a single parent and a former actor. He's taken his sons Jackson, age 14, and Buck, age 9, out of school for a year to make the trip with him. And their plan is to help people along the way by doing volunteer charity work.
That sounds wonderful, but it must be an expensive trip. How much will it all cost?
It's going to cost them $300,000 in total.
That's a lot of money. How did they afford it?
Well, J.D. Lewis didn't have all the money, so he set up an organization called 12 in 12 to help raise money. And with the help of individuals and some companies, they managed to raise the money.
12 in 12. That's an unusual name. Why did he call it that?
For a very good reason. Not only is their trip going to last 12 months, but their plan is to visit 12 countries. This month, they're in Australia, where they're working with the most important ethnic group in the region, the Aborigines. J.D. and his family are helping to get medical supplies to these people, who often live a long way from the major cities.
And is that the first place they've visited?
Oh no, so far they've visited 7 countries. Their first stop was Russia, where they took care of babies in an orphanage in the city of Tomsk. From there, they traveled to China, where they worked with children with physical disabilities in Beijing. Then they flew to Thailand, where they helped take care of the animals at the Elephant Nature Park.
What a variety of places. Where did they go next?
Their next stop was India, where they worked with children in the poorest district of the city of Hubli. Then they left Asia and flew to Africa. In Rwanda, they taught English to children who had lost their parents in the Civil War. From there, they went to Zanzibar, an island off the coast of Tanzania.
That sounds very exotic. What did they do there?
They helped families prepare an art fair, where they could sell things that they had made. Next, they went to Kenya, where they wrote and acted in a play with children who have HIV.
Wow, I bet that was very rewarding. Did they go anywhere else in Africa?
No, that was the end of Africa. From Kenya, they flew to Australia, which is where they are right now.
All that sounds amazing. But their trip isn't over, is it?
No, JD and his family still have 4 places to go: Antarctica, Paraguay, Peru, and Haiti. Not only are they trying to do things to help other people, but they are hoping to learn a lot of new things themselves. And J.D. Lewis hopes that the 12 in 12 organization will encourage other families to do what he has done with his sons.
Well, good luck to J.D. Lewis and his family on the rest of their incredible trip. And that's all we have time for tonight. Join us again tomorrow when we'll be bringing you more real-life stories.
File 2B. Pronunciation. 1,
I've been traveling all day.
2,
How long have they been going out together?
3,
She's been feeling sick since yesterday.
4,
They haven't been living here for long.
5,
We've been cleaning the house all morning.
6.
I haven't been sleeping well lately.
File 3A. Listening. 1,
One morning last winter, I was driving to work late when my cell phone rang. I knew it was my boss, so I answered it. Suddenly, the van in front of me stopped because there was someone crossing the road. I was talking to my boss, so I reacted too late, and my car went into the back of the van. Luckily, I was driving really slowly at the time, so I didn't do much damage to the van, but the front of my car was a real mess. Since then, I never use my phone when I'm driving.
2,
I was driving to Colorado one summer to visit my parents, who live in Denver. It's a long trip, so I had taken my MP3 player with me to connect to the car radio. Surprisingly, there wasn't much traffic on the freeway, so I arrived in Denver pretty quickly. However, I was having such a good time listening to my music that I completely missed the exits for Denver. I didn't realize until I had gone another 20 miles, so I had to turn around and drive all the way back again. It just goes to show what can happen when you aren't concentrating.
3,
We were on vacation last year when we had a little accident. We were going somewhere we'd never been before, so we were following the instructions on my GPS. We heard on the radio that there'd been a big accident on one of the roads we needed to travel on, so I started adjusting my GPS to find a different road to take. I took my eyes off the road, and suddenly we came to a sharp turn in the road. I saw the turn too late, so I went straight ahead and drove into the middle of a field. We were really lucky, though, because no one was hurt.
4,
I don't usually get up early enough to put my makeup on, so I usually put it on in my car. Well, I used to put it on in the car. Now I wait until I get to my office. That's because I had kind of a shock the other week, when I almost didn't stop at a crosswalk. I was looking in the mirror instead of at the road, so I didn't see this little boy run out. To tell you the truth, I hadn't even seen that there was a crosswalk there. I just had time to step on the brakes, and I missed the little boy by about an inch. I was really shocked afterward, though.
5,
I was driving into town to meet my girlfriend for dinner when she sent me a text message. I decided to read it, in case it was important. Anyway, the message said that my girlfriend was already at the restaurant, and I wanted her to know that I was going to be a little late. So when I stopped at a red light, I started to write a reply. But I didn't notice when the traffic light turned green, and the car behind crashed into the back of me. The driver of the car said he thought I was going to start driving, so he moved forward and hit me. Of course, I didn't tell him I was texting.
File 3A, Pronunciation. 1. The most relaxing way to travel is by train. 2.
The 7 hours in the airport was the least enjoyable part of the vacation.
3. The most interesting place to visit is the museum. 4.
Flying is a lot more expensive than going by bus.
5. They should have the party at their house. It's much bigger than ours. 6.
Scooters aren't as expensive as motorcycles.
File 3A, Pronunciation, B. 1.
Jazz, dangerous, bridge, rush.
2.
Shower, crash, seat belt, station.
3.
Jazz, check-in, passenger, traffic jam.
4.
Chess, chemistry, catch, departure.
File 3B, Listening.
Traditionally in the U.S., women have cooked more than men, but it looks as though things might be changing. According to a recent survey by a frozen foods company, almost half of all men in this country now prepare the family meals. And they aren't just doing it because they have to, it's because they enjoy it. The survey showed that 44% of men who were questioned do all of the cooking, and surprisingly, 15% of women questioned said that they didn't know how to cook. So it seems as if men are moving into the kitchen, and maybe women are moving out. Is this good news? What do you think? Call us at 1-800-555-3364 and tell us your opinion. I'll give you that number again. That's 1-800-555-3364. And here's our first caller, Nick from San Diego, California. Nick, what do you think about this new trend?
I'm pretty excited to see more men in the kitchen. In fact, I'm one of them. I lost my job a few months ago, and now I do all the cooking at home. I make a different dish every day, and sometimes I meet up with my friends to exchange recipes. My girlfriend says she really likes my food, and she even thinks that I should train to be a professional chef. I'm seriously thinking about doing that.
Well, good luck to you, Nick. Who's our next caller? Ah, yes. It's Eve from Seattle, Washington. Do you cook, Eve?
No, I don't. But my husband does. He's a much better cook than I am, so we decided from the beginning that he would do all the cooking. And he makes some great meals, mostly curries. But there's one problem.
What's that, Eve?
He makes a terrible mess in the kitchen, and I have to clean up after him. I don't know what's worse, actually, cooking myself or cleaning the kitchen.
Oh, come on, Eve. It can't be that bad. Now I think we have someone online, too. Yes, it's Frank from Hartford. What do you think about men taking over the kitchen, Frank?
Well, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. It seems to me that girls are getting lazier and lazier these days. It's only the older moms and grandmothers who know how to cook. I mean, how can a woman get married if she can't cook? I think it's a disgrace.
Thank you, Frank. So, not all of our listeners think it's a good thing. How about our next caller, Martina, calling from South Florida? Is it good news or bad news for you, Martina?
Good news. Definitely. In my house, I do all the cooking. My boyfriend doesn't cook at all. He can't even fry an egg. I mean, we both work full-time, so why can't we share the cooking? I'm really fed up with it. I really am. But I'm really happy for all those women out there who have found a real man. I know how you feel when you have to do everything yourself.
Let's hope Martina's boyfriend is listening so that he knows how she feels. We'll take some more calls after the break.
File 3B. When are prepositions stressed? 1,
Who did you argue with?
I argued with my dad.
2,
Who are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at you.
3,
What are you so excited about?
I'm excited about my vacation.
4.
What are you listening to?
I'm listening to the radio. File 3B. Pronunciation. A. 1,
I'd like to speak to the manager.
2,
I put the flowers on the table.
3,
What are we going to do tonight?
4,
Could you open the window for a minute?
5,
She needs to see a doctor about her headaches.
6.
We want to go for a walk tomorrow.
File 3B. Pronunciation. C. 1,
The conversation was about the woman next door.
2,
The university invited a guest to speak at the meeting.
3,
I sometimes go to the theater in the evening.
4,
We took the elevator instead of walking up the stairs.
5,
The office gave me all the information I needed.
6,
The gray skirt is nice, but I prefer the black one.
File 4A. Listening. 1. I suffer from asthma, and I usually carry an inhaler around with me just in case I get an attack. Anyway, I was on a work trip. I was in Paris. I had forgotten my inhaler, and I was having problems breathing. So I went to a pharmacy and asked for une aspirateur, which I thought was the French word for inhaler. I realized it wasn't when the girls behind the counter looked very confused. It turned out that I had asked for a vacuum cleaner, aspirateur, instead of an inhaler, inhalateur. 2.
I was in Istanbul with a Turkish friend of mine, and we decided that we wanted to buy some bread. I wanted to try out the Turkish I knew, so I said that I would ask for it. So we found this tiny little store, and we went in. I said to the salesperson in my best voice, "Taze erkek," which I thought meant fresh bread. Unfortunately, I got the word for bread, ekmek, confused with the word for man, erkek. So what I had actually asked for was a fresh young man. Luckily, my friend came to my rescue and asked for the bread correctly, but I felt a little embarrassed.
3.
I was 14 and I was on an exchange visit with my school in Madrid. It was the first night and I was at home with my Spanish host family, the Garcias, having dinner. We'd finished the main course and it was time for dessert, so the wife, Maria, asked me if I'd like some fruit. I saw some bananas in the fruit bowl, so I asked for a platon, at which point the whole family looked at me strangely. They then explained to me that I'd actually asked for a large plate. Platon means large plate, whereas banana is platano.
4.
I was in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil with my husband, and it was a very hot day, so we decided to take a break from our sightseeing. We found a street vendor selling cold drinks and snacks near the beach. I was so hot and tired that I quickly ordered what I thought was ice cream. I said, "Uma cosquinha, por favor." As soon as I'd finished speaking, the street vendor burst out laughing. He quickly apologized and explained in English that I'd asked him for a tickle and not ice cream. Tickle in Portuguese is cosquinha, and ice cream is casquinha.
5.
I'm an American living in Korea. Usually I can communicate pretty well in Korean. I speak Korean with my wife every day, and I have a tutor that I meet with every week to practice my conversation skills. So, one day I went to the store to buy a few things. I usually take my young son with me, but he wasn't with me this particular day. When the salesperson asked me about my son, my answer confused her because I accidentally said "에제 없어요," which means he's dead. What I meant to say was "여기 없어요," which means he's not here.
File 4A. Pronunciation. 1,
She can sing very well.
2,
I've never been able to ski.
3,
Can you read a map?
4,
You won't be able to go out tomorrow.
5,
He hasn't been able to walk very fast since he hurt his leg.
6.
They aren't able to come tonight.
File 4B. Listening.
Hello and welcome to The Traveler's Guide. Now, last week, we asked our listeners who are going to travel abroad to send us their questions about good manners in other countries. And we've invited our resident expert, Ruth Dempsey, to the show to answer them. Welcome to the program, Ruth.
Thank you.
So, the first question, Ruth. This comes from Katie in Denver, who is going to travel around Thailand next summer. Katie wants to know what she should do when she first meets people in Thailand.
Well, Katie, most of the time a simple handshake will be fine. But if someone gives you a why, that is a small bow with the hands held together close to the body, you must do the same. But if the person is of lower social status than you, so if they are younger than you, or they are a waiter, for example, you shouldn't return the why.
Very useful advice, Ruth. The next question is from Mark in Dallas, who is going to Brazil with his girlfriend to meet her family for the first time. He asks, is there anything I should or shouldn't do?
Like Americans, Brazilians are very warm, friendly, and open. However, there are a few differences to remember. Always say thank you when someone opens a door for you, offers you something to eat or drink, or even when your girlfriend's mother clears the plates from the table. It's very important to be polite. Also, don't speak when you have food in your mouth. Brazilians find this incredibly rude.
That sounds like good advice for you, Mark. Okay, our next question is from Julie in Oklahoma City. She's going to Greece on vacation, but doesn't speak the language. She asks, since I don't speak any Greek, I'll be communicating mostly with my hands. Are there any gestures I shouldn't use?
Absolutely, Julie. The most important one to remember is the thumbs up, which in the U.S. means good or okay. But it is very insulting to a Greek person. Another one is the U.S. hand gesture for stop, where you show someone your hand with your fingers straight together, like a police officer. But again, this is an insult in Greece.
Good luck, Julie. And we have time for one more. And this question is from Kendra in Chicago. She's going to South Korea for work, and she would like some tips on business behavior over there.
The most important thing to remember is that South Koreans like to bow a lot. As a foreigner, you won't be expected to, but it is a good way of showing respect, And the deeper you bow, the happier you are.
Very interesting. Ruth Dempsey, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we'll be right back after a check of the headlines.
File 4B. Pronunciation. B. 1,
Right.
2,
Receipt.
3,
Hour.
4,
Shouldn't.
5,
Exhausted.
6,
Walk.
7,
Could.
8.
Debt.
File 4B. Pronunciation. C. 1,
You shouldn't talk on the phone when you're driving.
2. You must always wear your seatbelt in the car. 3,
You don't have to wear a uniform.
4. You shouldn't ask a friend for money. 5,
You have to watch out for pickpocketers.
6. You should take a present for them. File 5A. Listening.
Welcome back to the show. We've been talking about famous sports cheaters on today's program. And now we're going to hear about another scandal. The sport was badminton, and the venue was the 2012 Olympic Games in London. Tom is here to tell us about it. Hi, Tom.
Hello, everybody.
So, who was involved in the scandal, Tom?
Well, the scandal involved 4 of the teams in the women's doubles competition. In total, 8 players were disqualified for cheating. 2 pairs from South Korea, a pair from China, and a pair from Indonesia.
And what exactly happened?
Well, basically, the teams played badly on purpose to make sure they lost their matches.
Why would they do that?
Well, to explain that, I'll very quickly tell you about how the competition works. The matches are divided into different stages. Teams play against other teams in their group in the first stage, and if they win, they play in the next stage. So sometimes a team might get a good opponent very early in the competition, which means it might not get through to the next stage.
Got it. So when did the cheating happen?
Well, the problem started on the last day of the first stage. In the morning, the first Chinese team won its match, finishing second in its group. The second Chinese team was going to play against a South Korean team that evening, and whichever team won that match would most likely play against the first Chinese team in the next stage.
Why was this a problem?
Neither team wanted to play against the first Chinese team because the South Korean team was sure it would lose, and the second Chinese team didn't want to play against a team from the same country yet, because that would mean that only one Chinese team was left to try to win a medal. So both teams tried to lose against each other instead.
How did they do that?
Well, both the South Koreans and the second Chinese team started missing shots. When they served, they either hit the shuttlecock into the net, or they hit it so hard that it went outside the lines on the court. In the end, they looked like amateurs, when in fact, they were some of the best players in the world.
So who lost the match?
The second Chinese team. South Korea beat them in both sets.
What about the other 2 teams?
Well, they tried to do exactly the same thing in the next match.
Which teams were these again?
Indonesia and another South Korean pair.
So in both matches, the teams tried to lose instead of trying to win so they'd have a better chance of winning a medal. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And it was really obvious, too. All the spectators started booing. It was so bad. After the second match, there was an investigation and all 8 players were disqualified.
And what about the competition? Did it stop there?
No, it continued without the disqualified players.
And who won the gold medal in the end?
The first Chinese team. They beat the Japanese team in both sets. Actually, it was a very good match.
Tom, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
File 5A. Pronunciation B.
1. 4. Shorts. Warm up. Workout.
2.
First. Hurt. Sports. World.
3.
Course. Floor. Score. Worst.
4.
Court. Serve. Shirt. Worse.
File 5B. Listening.
Hello, and welcome to the show. Now, a lot of research has been done recently about love, what causes it, and what we do to attract someone. Mary is in the studio with us today, and she's going to explain the results of some of these studies to us. Mary, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Let's start with how to meet new people. Some people like to start a conversation with a person they like by saying something funny. But how useful is this?
Not very useful at all, I'm afraid, Jeremy. Research shows that only 7% of attraction has anything to do with what you say. It's the tone and the speed of your voice that make a difference. This makes up 38% of the attraction. But the most important thing of all is body language. This contributes to a massive 55% of the attraction.
So what can we do to improve our body language?
Well, it seems that the best way to make the person you're talking to feel attracted to you is to look into their eyes. An American psychologist did an experiment about this in New York. He got complete strangers to stare into each other's eyes for 2 minutes without talking. Afterward, many of the couples said that they had strong feelings of attraction to each other, and one of the couples even got married.
Really? Then staring must be the thing to do. Is there any more advice on body language?
Well, it's important to have a relaxed body position. You need to show the other person that you're comfortable being with them. Also, try not to be far away from them. Of course, there is a comfortable distance, but try leaning a little closer to them than usual. It will show you're interested and hold their attention better. Don't forget to watch their body language, too. If they position their body in a similar way to you, it means they find you interesting, too. This is called mirroring.
Is there anything that seems to work well when you're talking to someone you're attracted to?
Not surprisingly, it seems that you'll have a better chance if you smile. Anyone who's ever spoken to someone on the phone will tell you that it's easy to tell when the other person is smiling because you can hear it in their voice. When talking to a potential partner, a smile will not only affect your tone of voice, keeping it light and fun, but it will also show the other person that you are happy to be with them. And don't forget that a smile is extremely contagious, and before long the other person will be smiling back at you. This will make them feel happier, a feeling that they will quickly connect with you.
How interesting, and very true. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for now, Mary, but thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. File 5B. Pronunciation A. 1.
Where did you used to live?
2.
Did you used to wear glasses?
3.
They used to have a lot of money.
4.
He used to go to my school.
5.
We used to work together.
6,
You used to have long hair.
7,
We didn't used to get along.
8.
I didn't used to like it.
File 5B. Pronunciation. C. 1,
Snake. See. Friends. Most. Social.
2,
Zebra. Eyes. Easy. Especially. Nowadays.
3,
Shower. Tissue. Please. Sure. Sugar.
4,
Television. Usually. Pleasure. Decision. Music.
File 6A. Listening.
Hello, and welcome to the TV and movie walking tour of Central Park in New York City. My name's Stacy Clinton, and I'm going to be your guide today. I hope you are all wearing comfortable shoes because the tour lasts for 2 hours. We'll end at Columbus Circle at around 2 o'clock. We're going to start at Gapstow Bridge, a stone bridge originally built in 1874. From the bridge, you have an amazing view of the Plaza Hotel. Does anyone know which movies the Plaza Hotel has been featured in? No? Well, you can see this famous hotel in The Great Gatsby and Almost Famous, just to name 2. So that's where we're going to go first. Then we're going to go to the Woolman Skating Rink, one of 2 rinks in the park. This skating rink was opened to the public in 1858, well over 150 years ago. You might recognize the rink from the movies Home Alone 2 and Love Story. After the rink, we'll walk to one of the most well-known attractions in Central Park, the Carousel. This carousel has 57 colorful wooden horses for children and adults to ride on, and it's only $3 a ride. The original carousel was built in 1871. This one isn't the original, but it is beautiful. Maybe that's why director Mel Brooks chose to include it in his movie, The Producers. As we walk toward the middle of the park, we'll pass by the Promenade and Bethesda Fountain, where movies such as The Avengers, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and Enchanted shot scenes. Farther north, we'll take a look at the largest lake in Central Park, and we'll visit the Boathouse Restaurant, which was featured in the movie When Harry Met Sally. Next, we'll visit the Bow Bridge, a graceful cast-iron bridge, which is considered one of the most romantic spots in New York City. Movie directors must agree because the bridge has been featured in Spider-Man 3, on the TV show Glee, and in one of the greatest love stories of all time, The Way We Were. At this point, we'll visit Strawberry Fields, an area of the park dedicated to John Lennon and his music. We'll look at the beautiful memorial mosaic with the word Imagine in the middle, designed to honor Lennon's memory. Of course, this area of the park was also used for a scene in the movie Little Manhattan. Finally, we'll walk to the sheep meadow. Don't worry, there haven't been any sheep in this meadow since 1934. However, we will see people sunbathing or relaxing in this 15-acre open area. This location was used in scenes for Wall Street and The Fisher King. As we walk to our final destination, Columbus Circle, we'll pass by Tavern on the Green, once a famous restaurant in New York City, and also used as a location for the popular movie Ghostbusters. And finally, we'll end up at Columbus Circle, where scenes for Taxi Driver and Borat were shot. Okay, so let's get going and head to our first stop, Gapstow Bridge.
File 6A. Pronunciation. A. 1,
The movie is based on a true story.
2,
The scenes will be shot on location.
3,
The actor has been nominated for an Oscar.
4,
The script was written by the author of the novel.
5,
The sequel is going to be released next week.
6,
The costumes are being made by hand.
File 6A. Pronunciation. C. 1, Audience. 2,
Historical movie.
3, Comedy. 4,
Director.
5, Drama. 6,
Horror movie.
7, Review. 8,
Sequel.
9, Soundtrack. 10,
Subtitles.
File 6B. Listening.
Hello and welcome to today's program. Have you ever wondered how women made themselves look beautiful in the past? Our beauty expert Olivia Johnson is with us today, and she's going to tell us all about beauty through the ages. Olivia, where are you going to start?
Well, I'm going to start with the Egyptians, but it wasn't only women who used cosmetics at this time. Both Egyptian men and women loved their cosmetics. We know that from the paintings and the powders they left behind. The women wore a powder on their faces to make their skin lighter, and they painted a big black line around their eyes to make them look bigger. Men put a cream made of fat and oil and other substances on their face to protect it from the sun, a very early version of sunscreen. Egyptian kings and queens also put colorful powders around their eyes. Their favorite color was green, which they got from a mineral called malachite.
How interesting. Who are you going to tell us about next?
Okay, let's move on to the ancient Greeks. Cosmetics were an important part of their life, too. The ancient Greek idea of beauty was very pale skin, blonde hair, and natural makeup. For them, pale skin was a sign of beauty and wealth. The women used a powder made out of a metal called lead to make their faces look lighter.
You mean lead? The lead that used to be in the pipes carrying the water in our houses?
That's right.
But lead is poisonous.
Yes, it is, and the ancient Greeks knew lead was poisonous, but it was so important for them to be beautiful that they used it on their face, and of course, it made them sick.
I can't believe they used lead on their faces. Anyway, who's next on the list?
The Romans. They were absolutely obsessed with beauty. A Roman philosopher once wrote, "A woman without paint is like food without salt." So it's clear that they really believed that women should wear a lot of makeup. The Romans believed that pink on the cheeks was a sign of good health, but they did not apply the makeup themselves. Instead, they used their servants to put on their creams and powders.
So the servants were like modern makeup artists then?
Yes, I guess you could say that.
I think I prefer putting on my own makeup. Olivia Johnson, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
File 6B. Pronunciation. B. 1,
Bike. Eye. Bite. Smile. Height. Weight.
2,
Train. A. Face. Great. Eyes. Taste.
3,
phone, O, nose, tongue, throw, toes, boy,
4,
owl, ow, sound, crowd, mouth, shoulders,
5,
boy, oi, point, enjoy, noise, outgoing.
File 7A, listening.
And now for a review of last night's TV shows. The highlight for me was a new series called The Unteachables. It's a kind of reality show that tries to find out if it's really true that there are students who can't be taught. Last night, we were introduced to the students. There are 16 of them altogether, and they're all 14 years old. They've all been suspended from schools at least once, and their teachers think they're impossible to teach. Watching the students on last night's show, it isn't hard to see why. We see the group during their introductory weekend at the study camp when they meet each other for the first time. At one point, one of the boys warns that he might set the building on fire. You couldn't imagine how their teacher was going to teach them. And that's where 40-year-old Philip Beadle comes in. Beadle used to be a rock musician, but he gave up music at the age of 32 to become a teacher. Since then, he has had a very successful career in education. His greatest achievement was when he worked at a high school where there were a lot of problems. He worked really hard, and his students got the best test scores in English that the school had ever seen. All of his students passed their exams, half of them with the highest score. But let me get back to the show. In Beadle's first class, he manages to help the students learn to trust him by playing a game with the children. In the game, Beadle and the students point at each other and say an insult. This might not seem very educational, but Beadle had the attention of all the students, and everybody was joining in. And that was the point of the game. You might think that Beadle's teaching methods are pretty unusual, and you'd be right. At one point on last night's show, he took the students out into the country. They found a field with cows in it, and he made them read poems and plays by Shakespeare to the cows. Remember that these are children who refuse to read in front of other people in a classroom. In another scene, they are in a different field learning about punctuation. Beadle teaches this by going around to different students and shouting the names of the types of punctuation. So, for example, he shouts, question mark, then, huh, and at the same time moves his body into a shape like a question mark. The students learn by copying him, and it looks like a lot of fun. By the end of the first episode, the students are starting to accept their new teacher. Some of them even say he's all right. I really enjoyed The Unteachables, and I really want to know what happens next. If you're fascinated by the experiment like I am, you'll watch the next episode at the same time next Wednesday. Personally, I can't wait.
File 7A, pronunciation, B. 1,
ooh, lunch, fruit, scooter, true.
2,
couple, muscles, pull, tongue.
3,
cut, full, push, put.
4,
U. Cute. Musical. Subtitles. Uniform.
File 7B, listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Thank you and welcome to Graceland, the home of music star Elvis Presley. We start our tour here, at the front door of this impressive home. This is the perfect place to look closely at the outside of the house. It was built in the early part of the 20th century in a style that was popular at the time. The outside walls of the house are made of stone and wood, and the house has 2 floors as well as a basement. This house was Elvis's home from 1957 until 1977 when he died, which means he spent most of his adulthood here. He got married in 1967, and his wife, Priscilla, came to live with him here after they got married. Their only daughter, Lisa Marie, was born here. So you see, this house played an extremely important role in Elvis's life. Now, as you're walking through the house, I'd like you to pay special attention to how different rooms are decorated. One room is decorated to look like a jungle, with green rugs, plants of all kinds, and animal print decorations. Another room, the TV room, was one of the first home theaters in the U.S. Elvis placed 3 TVs side by side on a wall. On Sundays, he could watch 3 different football games at the same time. Okay, if you'll come this way, we'll start on the first floor, and the first room we're going to visit is the dining room. Are you all in? Well, this is the dining room where Elvis enjoyed meals with his guests. The large dining room table could seat about 12 people. The beautiful light hanging over the table is made of Italian glass. Elvis didn't usually wake up until 4 in the afternoon. So the dinner parties didn't start until 10 at night. His full-time cooks made old-fashioned Southern food for the dinner parties, and when he wanted a snack, his cooks made him his favorite peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwiches, which were probably the reason he gained weight as he got older. The dining room was also used by Elvis as a place to play card games with his friends. Now, we're going to walk across the hall to the living room, and then we'll head to the music room right behind it. Please follow me. The centerpiece of the living room is a 14-foot-long white leather couch and 10-foot-long coffee table. Quite impressive. The room has a wall covered in mirrors and is decorated in gold, blue, and white. If you look over here, you'll see a pair of stained glass birds that lead into the music room. It was in this room that Elvis and his friends spent hours together creating and playing music. When you're ready, we'll continue with our tour of the first floor and visit the kitchen and Elvis's parents' room, where his father had a swimming pool installed in his bedroom, along with a jukebox next to it. That's awesome.
Nice.
File 7B, pronunciation, A. 1,
If I exercised more, I'd be a lot healthier.
2,
I'd grow my own vegetables if I had a garden.
3,
Would you buy a house if you had enough money?
4,
If it were my house, I would make the kitchen bigger.
5,
I wouldn't work so hard if I didn't have to pay so much rent.
File 7B, pronunciation, D. 1, Cozy, kitchen. 2,
Ceiling. Basement.
3, town, ground. 4,
country, suburb.
5, spacious, shower. 6,
balcony, walkway.
File 8A, listening. Hi, Sam. How was your trip to Chicago?
It was great, thanks. But the flight back was awful. In fact, I made a complaint to the airline.
What was the problem?
Well, as you know, some airlines make you wait forever in line before you can board, which I can't stand. It also means that there's always a huge rush to get on the plane, and there isn't any place to put your bags. I find all this so annoying that I usually pay for preferred access. You know, when you pay extra to get on the plane first. You just get in line when they call the flight, and then they tell the passengers with preferred access to come to the front, and you get on the plane first.
So, what went wrong?
Well, it was fine on the flight to Chicago. I stood in line, they called the people who had preferred access, I boarded the plane, and I got to my seat with no problems. Perfect. But on the flight back from Chicago to New York, I was standing in line at the gate, waiting to be called to board first, and nothing happened. I don't know if they forgot about preferred access or what, but they didn't call us to the front of the line. That meant I had to board the plane with everyone else. In fact, I was one of the last to get on. As you can imagine, I wasn't very happy.
So what did you do?
When I got home, I emailed the airline explaining what had happened. I told them that I had paid for preferred access on both of my flights, but I had only received the service on one of them. I asked them, very politely, to give back the money I had paid for the preferred access for the return trip. It was about $20 at the time.
Did you get a response?
Yes, I did. They were very quick. I sent my email at 5 p.m., and I received a reply the next morning.
And did they give you your money back?
Well, no, they didn't. I had a very nice message from a man in customer service saying he was concerned about the incident, but he didn't say he would give me my money back.
Typical. They never do they?
Wait a minute, I haven't finished the story yet.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I sent them a second email, but this time the tone was much stronger and less polite, and it worked. They refunded my preferred access, and they gave me money from my return flight from Chicago. I was impressed.
That's great. File 8A, pronunciation, B. 1,
bargain, villain, paid,
2,
certain, complain, rain,
3,
painting, said, wait,
4,
airline, fair, raise,
5,
captain, plane, email,
6,
brain, hair, stairs.
File 8B, listening. 1,
When I was about 15, I got a part-time job in a supermarket. The job was in the cash office, so I had a lot of responsibility. I had to collect the money from the registers, count it, and put it in the safe for the security people to collect the next morning. I was still in school at the time, so I worked for a couple of hours on a Friday evening and all day on Saturdays. During the holidays, I worked more hours because I had more time and there were more customers. The girls in the office were a lot of fun, so the job wasn't at all boring. I worked there for about 3 years until I left because I needed more time to study for my final exams at school.
2,
I studied Spanish in college, and at the end of my first year, I went to Argentina to practice my Spanish. I found a job in a restaurant almost as soon as I arrived. The job was washing dishes, which I thought was going to be easy. Unfortunately, I was wrong. There was a machine in the kitchen that washed the plates and glasses and things like that, but my job was to clean the pots and pans that the chef had used. The saucepans were always completely black, and it used to take me hours to get everything clean. I didn't enjoy working there very much, and I was really happy when I had learned enough Spanish so that I could stop working there.
3.
I don't know if you can call this a job, but I did get paid for it, even if it was only $20. When I was a teenager, I used to take care of my cousins when my aunt and uncle wanted to go out. The kids were a lot younger than me, so I had to babysit for them. I didn't do it every weekend, but it was probably about once a month. My uncle used to pick me up at about 7 and take me back to their house. I had to bathe the kids, give them their dinner, and play with them for an hour or so before they went to bed. They were no trouble at all to babysit, and I absolutely loved being with them.
4.
My dad's a painter, and so the summer after I finished school, I went to help him for a few weeks. At the time, my dad's company had a contract to paint all the exterior doors and windows of some houses in a new development. The weather was great, not too hot and not too cold, so I didn't really mind it. The work was pretty tiring because I spent most of the day climbing up and down a ladder, but I earned a lot of money that summer. But the best thing was spending some time with my dad and his colleagues. We had a really good time.
5.
One of the first jobs I ever had was in a food processing company in San Diego. I was a student at the time, and I needed a temporary job during the holidays. Fortunately, the job was only for 2 weeks because it was really awful. The worst day was when we were packaging hamburgers. I had to stand on the production line and count the burgers into groups of 5. Later, someone farther down the line put the burgers in a box. The problem was that the burgers were frozen and we weren't allowed to wear gloves. This meant that I had to pick up the ice-cold burgers with my hands. I've never had such cold fingers in all my life.
File 8B. Pronunciation. B. 1. Apply. 2.
Downsize.
3. Employment. 4.
Farmer.
5. Lawyer. 6.
Overtime.
7. Musician. 8.
Permanent.
9. Promotion. 10.
Qualify.
11. Resign. 12.
Retire.
13. Salary. 14.
Temporary.
15. Unemployed. File 9A. Listening. 1.
I know a lot of people who are superstitious when they see somebody standing on top of a ladder on the sidewalk and they don't want to walk underneath it. Actually, I'm one of those people. Walking under a ladder is supposed to give you bad luck, so I never do it. Whenever I come across a ladder, I always walk around it, even if I have to walk out into the street. Come to think of it, that's probably worse than walking under the ladder because I could get hit by a car. But there's no way that I would ever walk under the ladder.
2.
I don't know if any other countries have this superstition, but where I live, you have to be very careful when you buy a new pair of shoes. Apparently, it's bad luck to put the shoes on your dining room table. This goes back to something that people did in the past when somebody died. In fact, it was the families of miners in the north of England who originally did this. The family always bought new clothes to dress the dead person in, and this included buying new shoes. So, if you leave your new shoes on the table, some people think that this could bring bad luck.
3.
In some countries, some people are very superstitious about going up or down stairs. If you're going downstairs, it's bad luck to pass someone who's coming up the stairs. And the same thing happens the other way around. Someone once told me the reason for this. A long time ago, people carried swords, so you had to be very careful of the people around you. If somebody passed you on the stairs, you couldn't see them because they were behind you. That meant that they could turn around and kill you with their sword without you realizing.
4.
When I was planning my wedding a couple of years ago, I had my heart set on a beautiful outdoor spring ceremony in November. Unfortunately, my husband's brother was engaged at the same time, and in Chile, it's considered bad luck for two brothers to get married during the same year. Since his brother is the eldest, he got to choose his wedding date first. Of course, he chose November. We had to wait until January, in the middle of summer. Our wedding day was one of the hottest days of the year. It was so uncomfortable in my dress and my hair was out of control.
5.
In Brazil, if someone has an exam or is going for a job interview, we push our thumb between our first two fingers to wish them luck. I have some German friends who make a similar sign. They wrap the fingers of their right hand around their thumb and say, "I'm holding my thumb for you." And I know that in the US, people cross their fingers and say, "Fingers crossed," when they wish people luck, which is also similar. Maybe they're all connected in some way.
File 9A. Pronunciation. 1.
We'd have gotten to the movie theater on time if we'd taken a taxi.
2.
If you'd told me about the meeting, I'd have gone.
3.
She would have bought the coat if it hadn't been so expensive.
4.
If I'd known you were driving, I wouldn't have called.
5.
If they hadn't played so badly in the second half, they would have won the game.
6.
The flight would have been cheaper if we'd booked last month.
File 9B. Listening.
Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Oh, hello. Yes. I need to ask you about Wi-Fi access in the hotel. I have some work to do while I'm here, so I'm going to need an internet connection.
Well, there's a Wi-Fi hotspot in the lobby of the hotel, and all of the rooms have Wi-Fi.
Great. And how much does it cost?
It's free in the lobby, but we charge for the Wi-Fi access in the rooms. Are you interested in our standard connection, or would you prefer our advanced service?
What's the difference?
The standard service is available for a flat fee of $10 per day. However, it can be a little bit slow because everyone in the hotel uses it. We have a higher level service for our guests who need a faster and more reliable connection.
And how much is that?
It's 25 cents per minute.
That could get pretty expensive if I use it all evening.
Not really, sir. The maximum charge is $30 for 24 hours.
I see. So how would that work? Would I have to pay $30 today and another $30 tomorrow?
No. The 24-hour period begins from when you checked in.
Great. I'd like the advanced service then. Oh, and one more question. What do I need to log on to your Wi-Fi?
Just a moment. Could you give me your name and room number?
It's Gray. Barry Gray. I'm in room 302.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Here's your Wi-Fi pack, which has the name of the connection, here, and here's your password. Please try to keep it safe so that nobody else can use it. You checked in at 10 after 3 today, so the connection will last until the same time tomorrow afternoon.
Great. Is that all I need?
Yes, it is.
Thanks a lot for your help.
You're welcome.
File 9B. Pronunciation. B. 1. Although. Brought. Thought. 2.
Cough. Enough. Tough.
3. Bought. Daughter. Through. 4.
Caught. Laughed. Taught.
File 10A. Listening.
Welcome back to the show. Now, a new exhibition opens today at the Science Museum, and all of the exhibits are everyday objects that we couldn't live without. Charlotte Heath, who has been to the exhibition, is with us today to tell us more about it. Welcome to the show, Charlotte.
Thank you.
So, what kinds of objects can you see in the exhibition? Are we talking about modern gadgets like smartphones and tablets here?
No, not at all. This exhibition is all about the little or important things we have in our house and use every day. We use them so much that we probably forgot or don't even realize that someone actually invented them.
Such as?
Well, a good example is the container we use to keep food in, the tin can. But I bet you don't know how it was invented.
No, I don't.
Well, there's a very interesting story behind it. It was the French leader Napoleon Bonaparte who was responsible for this one. In 1809, he was worried about how to feed all his soldiers when they were away from home. So he organized a competition to try to get ideas for how to solve the problem. The first prize was 12,000 francs, and the competition was won by a French chef who had the idea of using glass jars to store food. A year later, a British manufacturer, Peter Durand, improved the design by using thin sheets of metal to make the container that became what we now call a tin can. The only problem was that he used lead in the can, which, as you know, is poisonous. Several people died after eating food from his tin cans.
How unfortunate. Now, Charlotte, do we have time for one more story before the news headlines?
Sure. I can tell you about the tea bag. In the past, if you wanted to buy tea, you had to buy the leaves in a big box. To make a drink of tea, you would put the leaves in water, and you would often find small pieces of tea leaves at the bottom of your cup. Anyway, in 1908, an American tea salesperson named Thomas Sullivan had the bright idea of putting the tea in very small bags to give to his customers to try. Sullivan thought that customers would take the tea out of the bags in order to try it, but some of the customers didn't. They found it more convenient to put the bag into hot water without actually opening it. So, tea bags weren't really invented by a company. It was the tea drinkers who came up with the idea.
What an incredible story. And the Everyday Inventions exhibition at the Science Museum will run until Sunday, July 25th. Right, Charlotte?
Yes, the museum is open from 10 to 6 every day. So there's no excuse not to go.
Thanks for joining us, Charlotte. And now it's time for the news headlines with
File 10A. Pronunciation. B. 1.
Boarding pass.
2.
Crosswalk.
3.
Flash drive.
4.
Parking ticket.
5.
Ringtone.
6.
Speed camera.
7.
Subway map.
8.
Tennis court.
File 10B. Listening.
The next morning, when my servant Paddock arrived, I introduced him to Captain Digby. I explained that the captain was an important man in the army, but he had been working too hard and needed rest and quiet. Then I went out. leaving them both in the flat. When I returned about lunchtime, the doorman told me that the gentleman in flat 15 had killed himself. I went up to the top floor, had a few words with the police, and was able to report to Scudder that his plan had been successful. The police believed that the dead man was Scudder, and that he had killed himself. Scudder was very pleased. For the first 2 days in my flat, he was very calm, and spent all his time reading and smoking, and writing in a little black notebook. But after that he became more restless and nervous. It was not his own danger that he worried about, but the success of his plan to prevent the murder of Karolides. One night he was very serious. "Listen, Hannay," he said. "I think I must tell you some more about this business. I would hate to get killed without leaving someone else to carry on with my plan." I didn't listen very carefully. I was interested in Scudder's adventures, but I wasn't very interested in politics. I remember that he said Karolides was only in danger in London. He also mentioned a woman called Julia Chechenyi. The next evening I had to go out. I was meeting a man I had known in Africa for dinner. When I returned to the flat, I was surprised to see that the study light was out. I wondered if Scudder had gone to bed early. I turned on the light, but there was nobody there. Then I saw something in the corner that made my blood turn cold. Scudder was lying on his back. There was a long knife through his heart, pinning him to the floor.
File 10B, Pronunciation. A. 1.
You called her last night, didn't you?
2.
He's older than you, isn't he?
3.
They aren't coming, are they?
4.
You'd like to visit Paris, wouldn't you?
5.
She'll be late, won't she?
6.
I can't dance very well, can I?
File 10B, Pronunciation. C. 1.
Bird, murder, hurt, weren't.
2.
Boot, brutal, prove, truth.
3.
Up, suspect, discover, suddenly,